Are you taking life too seriously? Notice your body right now. Are you smiling or are you tensed up? Did you open this up expecting to hear something to make you feel better because you're not feeling good right now? Or do you feel great and at ease and you want to feel even better? Look, it's a really important question because when we take life too seriously, we start to get tight. Our bodies become denser. And in the words of my friend Howard Wells, density creates disease. From density, diseases develop. So we don't want to be dense. We want to be light and humor and just not taking things too seriously all seem to go together. But what do I really mean by this? What I mean is that, well, okay, if we can begin to take a step back from the seriousness, the importance, the urgency of our life, well, maybe that'll give us greater room and greater power, like stepping back from a swing so that we can swing out fully with our arms with a complete extension. I mean, come on. Imagine all the things that you could do right now if you didn't take your job so seriously. Well, take one thing for example. So a lot of people are in sales, right? Well, they're traveling salesmen. They need to make calls. They need to make phone calls. They need to get people on board, knock on doors, meet people in the street, talk to strangers. Oh, God forbid. But I'll tell you what, if they take that job too seriously, if they need yeses, right? If they're not enjoying exactly what they're doing in every single moment without thinking too much about it, are they going to make those calls? Are they going to stop from door to door? Are they going to meet those strangers? Heck no! Of course they wouldn't. Just think about it. Remember when you were a little child on the playground about to step up to bat, or you were past the ball? Well, there are a few types of kids. One type of kid would just take that ball, run with it. They'd hold on to it, and they'd try to make it right to the goal to score. They were having a great time. And you can remember looking at them going, gosh, what a jerk. He's having this amazing time, and he's not even worrying about anyone else. Right? And if you really got to know those kids, maybe you'd find out that they weren't trying to be a jerk. They just thought that's what you do. When you get the ball, you have a good time with it. You don't drop it. You don't worry about fumbling it. You just go, you do your thing, and you enjoy it. Right? And then there's the other type of kid who would get the ball, and they would think about it for a while. They would move around with it, but then they'd try to pass it as quickly as possible. Or maybe not that quickly, but they weren't comfortable with it in their hands. They always felt like it was a pressure or responsibility. So they'd move around, they'd do their thing, but they weren't like the first group. They weren't just going wild with it, having a great time, running back and forth, breaking every rule, not really caring at all. I remember when I was a little kid, there was a hula line, a limbo line, and it was at my friend Jordan's birthday, and I remember just running from the back of the line to the front of the line, through the limbo bar, and then back around about 100 times, screaming and giggling. I think there's footage of this somewhere. And everyone, I remember some people were going, what the hell is he doing? And all the parents were laughing and having a great time. And I had the time of my life. I was having a blast. I got to go into the limbo bar around 5 million times. I didn't have to wait through that line. Now, guess what? If I had been thinking to myself, oh, God, this is serious. Oh, God. Oh, I need to wait in this line because if I don't wait in this line, I'm going to be breaking one of God's rules. I'm going to be such a bad person and everyone's going to hate me. Well, guess what? I wouldn't have done it. Or guess what? If I had done it, well, maybe they would have hated me because maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed myself so much doing it. And guess what? When people are really, truly enjoying themselves in a pure way, it's infectious. Other people catch on. It makes them feel happy and good too. I mean, come on. When you see someone smiling and giggling across the room or at a restaurant, you know, as disturbing as it is, because maybe the people that you're with aren't so happy, they're a little bit too serious, it always just feels good somewhere in the back of your mind, in the back of your heart. So let's go back to that little kid. He gets the ball, and he wants to get rid of it. And then there's a third type of kid who doesn't even want it in the first place. And this is the type of kid who we all have somewhere in our hearts. They get the ball and they're so worried about dropping it that sometimes they don't even play the game. Sometimes they get out of there as quickly as possible. They stay on the sidelines, they go right to the back, or they stand behind someone else who they feel like will take the ball for them. Now, is that the way you want to live your life? But just think about it even more. Think back to that time when you were playing that game, when you were that little kid. Maybe it was an assignment for class. Maybe you had to get up and make a presentation. Maybe there was a phone call you had to make. Maybe you were at a party and you saw a stranger and you didn't go talk to them. Whatever that time was, when you didn't even drop the ball, you didn't even accept the ball in the first place. You ran from it. You ran for dear life. I'll take that moment and ask yourself, is that how I want to be? Do I want that in my life? Do I want to be that person at all, or do I want to get rid of that feeling? Now, dig deeper and ask yourself, why? Why did I run away from that opportunity? Why did I run away from the ball as opposed to just taking it like that first kid and running down the court up and down or under the limbo bar a million times, just having a good time with it and waiting for someone else to stop me as opposed to stopping myself? Why? Now, if your answer's like mine, maybe it's because you take that task a little bit too seriously. Maybe because you're looking at it as life or death. Either you do it, you win, you succeed, and the whole world glorifies your name and you're remembered from now until eternity. Or you don't do it and you spare yourself the humiliation, which will also last from now until eternity. But just kind of maybe go back a little bit. Was there a time where you had the ball and you dropped it and you weren't humiliated? I remember there was a time in my life, especially powerful, where I was playing a sports game and I'm not an athlete by any means. And I remember getting the ball and literally dropping it. And I remember feeling to myself, oh, that's it. These people are going to look at me differently forever. Never going to look at me the same. And guess what? They didn't. They didn't even notice. And it changed my life because I realized that that big deal, I'd made it in my mind for all those years, was an illusion. So I invite you to just start having a little fun, to stop taking things so seriously. So much love.